Have you ever spent energy on regrets? Hyper focus on the risks you did not take? Well, today's guest, LeeAnn Marie Webster, lives that in reverse. In fact, she's the creator of the No Regrets Formula, where she helps women leaders find a deeper sense of connection to themselves to live a more joyful life. She's an attorney turned international keynote speaker, and she founded Rapid Dating, the largest speed dating company in Southern California. LeeAnn's been featured on NBC, The Huffington Post, the Los Angeles Times, and a few more. She's also a Moth Story Slam winner and the creator of Fancy Meeting Me Here, her inspirational one woman show. So tune in as she shares insight on healing through storytelling and her path to becoming Adventure Girl. Let's go. Well, if it isn't my fun girl coming back, welcome back to She Chose Joy, LeeAnn.
Oh, I'm so honored to be invited back. I love it.
Yeah, you're my first guest that actually we're doing the second recording for. There are a couple that are coming back, and you're the first. So I'm really excited about this. Speaking of being excited, I love finding joy in the spaces in between, if you will.
Yeah.
And I came across a mug. Remember the Dr. Seuss book, The Places You Will Go?
Yeah.
I saw that mug. It just got me so excited. And for, I think, the last week and a half, I've been using that mug every day.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't it? It's like the simplest thing, but it really makes me light up inside because it was like, places you will. And so with you, I never know what place we will end up because you tend to do things big. So I'm just curious, what are you excited about today? Like, what's lighting you up inside?
Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh, I probably have about 20 answers to that.
Okay.
It's funny that you mentioned the simple thing. I literally this morning wrote my email. I do a weekly email to my list, and I wrote about my keyboard. I'll show you if you can see it. I call it a clicky clacky keyboard because it's like
a clicky clacky keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really. Some of us of a certain age grew up learning to type on a manual typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when the whole carriage would go up when you had to do the capital?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, I saw this somewhere, and I like the tactile sound of it, and I changed my kind of setup, and so I needed an external keyboard, and I was looking at all the different ones, and then I saw this one, and I was like, oh, like, that's so cool. And it's so simple, and it was not cheap, but I was like, I use my keyboard every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wouldn't it be fun if I had one that, silly as it is, a keyboard that like lit me up? And I got to tell you, I'm all like, well, let me just send you that email now. Like
So when you hear the clicky clack, it just gets you all fired up.
Oh, an insane amount of joy. And I even had someone in my apartment the other day. I don't know, it's like the cable guy or whatever. I don't know what it was. And I was over here just working away, and he like looks over and he goes, "That's a really cool keyboard." And I'm like, "Isn't it?" And so, yeah, find joy in the mug, in the keyboard, in the whatever, because it's like, yeah, that's what life is. That's life. That's it right there.
I literally got out of line to go back to get that, right? And so I'm thinking about what you just said. Like you said, it's not cheap. But really, like when we think about something, like there's cost and then there's value, right?
Yeah.
And if it lights you up and gets you energized for the day, can we really put a price on that?
Exactly. Because the energy that I'm sending out, my little email, my little notes, and all that, people feel it. It's silly as it sounds, people feel it. And I will take this any day over the things that you spend money on that you only use one time. Even even though it's worth it sometimes to do the one time because it's amazing. And I'm like, my cost per use, my cost per joy is like, can you make that a thing? My cost per joy.
Oh, your cost per joy.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see how we can fit that theme in for the rest of the conversation.
I love it. I love it.
At a game. I love games, right?
Yes.
It probably is sometimes it's really fun that I love games, and sometimes it's really annoying because, you know, I can be like, my husband and I can just be having regular conversation, and then I'll say, let's make it a game. And he's like, no. Yeah. So then he's like, no. And he just does that just to mess with me. But yeah. So anyway, what is it called? What's the game again?
I don't know, the thing, cost of joy.
The cost of joy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe the gain of joy. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
The value of joy. The cost of joy.
The value of joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's oh wait. Ooh, I got it.
Okay.
It's the ROJ. It's the return on joy.
Ooh, boom, shaka, laka, shaka. ROJ. Okay, do I have your consent to use that?
Take it, girl. Take it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Take it.
Return on joy. I am like super thrilled about this. Oh yes, the return on joy. Okay.
What else can we solve?
Okay. Wait, here's the other thing. Before we get into the other stuff, I already acknowledged you, but I just want to do it again here because I really applaud and celebrate your courage to do your one-woman show. And I remember the first time I was going to be out of town, and so I wasn't able to attend. And then when you had your return, I had the opportunity to go, and my husband and I really enjoyed it. I found out later he was even sharing it with people at work the next day and all of that. And so the fact that you had the courage to do a one-woman show.
Thank you.
Play bell ready on the ready. Is there a return on joy for that? Like seeing your baby, your creation, your vision on a playbill.
Yeah, there's so much. And thank you for sharing with me that he was even sharing with people at work. I mean, that just made my heart swell up a little bit. So one of the reasons I did it was because there's like the practical side, right? Like through my life, people have often said, you know, you've overcome a lot, you have a great story, you should write a book. And I am writing a book, but it's a little different. But it just felt like, okay, but that didn't feel very joyful, right? It didn't feel very inspiring. And through a number of different things, it came to me one day, what if I did a show? Because I love storytelling and I love speaking, and it felt like I've never had quite the experience of something that wanted to come out of me in such a specific way. Yeah. And so to create it, I mean, from the moment I had that thought to the stage was about 2 years, just to figure the whole thing out. And so to literally create something from nothing, I think is an incredible experience. And then also along the way, you know, I healed so much, and I grew so much, and I learned about myself, and I learned about others, and you know, we could have a whole conversation around that. I don't know if you want to go into that, or if you want to,
what was it? Is it, if you feel like it's important to share right now, if it wants to be expressed, let's give it room to breathe. Yeah.
Well, thank you. You know, here's the thing. That show was the single most powerful healing exercise I've ever gone through in my life. and I've done a lot of healing.
Mm.
And the reason is because so often, especially, depending on the modality or what you're looking at or whatever, most people don't go back and revisit their traumatic experiences.
Yeah.
Or if they do, they're in a therapist chair, or, there's like parameters around it. And maybe you go back once or twice, maybe 3 times, but normally you don't go into it. And this was like, hey, let's create an hour-long show that just showcases some traumatic events. And not only will I share them with you, but I'm going to go, I probably have gone back to those stories more than 100 times between all the rehearsals and the writing, and a few hundred times. So I've now, and not just told the story, but you saw the show. I'm in there. I'm acting it.
Right. Yeah.
And so I went back and revisited my stories and acted them out and felt the emotions and had the conversations, and I was in them in a way that I've never been in them before. And that turned out to be extraordinarily healing, because by the time you go back and do that and revisit them in a new way, and I was actually able to, I literally had to create a process where I would step into the world of the show and then I would step back out, and so it let me heal and also have some distance, but be truly healed. And I believe it's by going through that process, which is just an unusual thing to do, yet extraordinarily powerful.
Thank you for sharing that. And the other thing, like one of the things that I noticed too was, yes, you went into sharing part of your trauma, and then you also had this delicate balance of humor that you would use. And so it wasn't where it kept us like in a took us to a dark place and left us there or anything else. It was a way where you took us into your journey with you in a way that felt like it had just a gentle rhythm that was easy to take in without leaving feeling like, okay, I need a moment, or any of those things. And so that takes skill.
Thank you.
And here's the thing I never said out loud. I'm going to say it here. Watching that, between watching that and then sometimes listening to that, what is that podcast? Is it the Storyteller podcast? I may be messing up the name of it. But
the Moth, or no?
Maybe it is the Moth. I know you've done the Moth and you've won, right?
Yes.
But there's a podcast and people are sharing their story. And you can hear it, like, we listen to it in the car on the radio. So between those two, it's prompting me to say, I'm toying with the idea, like, what I be able to do? Is that something I would be willing to play with?
Yeah.
And so hearing you share about how it contributed to your healing, it's got me reflecting. I'm curious. I'm going to really play with that a bit more. So thank you for that inspiration.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. That's really what I want people to take away. And I'm glad you saw that it was a whole journey, because there's traumatic parts, but I try to bring in some humor and some joy, and what I really want people to walk away from is, you can take, and this is what my whole work is about, the past does not need to equal the future, yet it can propel your future and it can fuel your future, because you can take all the things, even the dirty, ugly things, and of course the joyful things, all the things, and you can mix that up into your own little recipe and use it as fuel for what you're going to become. And you have the choice over how you do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And something else you said earlier too was about how you allowed yourself to feel.
1,000 times, yeah.
You didn't say, okay, I'm just going to tell it. We're just going to tell it. But allowing yourself to actually feel it as you were rehearsing and preparing to really honor whatever emotion was present. Because from my perspective, I don't see emotions as good or bad. I don't even like to call them negative or positive. It's your body's way of letting you know that something needs your attention. And that energy needs to move. And when we honor it and give it an opportunity to really speak to us so that that part of us in our story can heal is really powerful
Yeah.
and quite liberating, you
A
know?
1,000 times, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, Melanie, I just wrote down another cool catchphrase, but I might keep
Uh-oh.
this one.
Okay.
Honor the honor the energy.
Oh,
Honor the
yes.
energy, right?
Yes.
And that's been one of my greatest lessons
Mhm.
of my adult life, because I feel like um, culturally and just, we often get told emotions are good or bad. Feel the good ones, don't feel the bad ones, or
Yeah.
find a way to get around them, or to turn them into something good, instead of just honoring what they are. And it is just energy. And what I found growing up, or even really until probably about 5 or 6 years ago, was that anything that felt like negative to me, partially because of my upbringing, I would be like, oh, I can't go there. I can't be angry. Anger is not good. I can't be
Yeah.
angry. And so I would push it away. And, it comes back
Mhm.
when you push strong emotions like that back. And what I've learned more recently in my show really helped me with this was be like, no, just, okay, you know what? Anger can be fuel.
Yeah.
Anger can be good. Anger can make you say, enough of this. I'm doing something different. And so it's like, how can I really like truly, 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 truly feel those emotions, understand them, understand what's behind them, and then transmute that into something that will help me moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing anger into that. And it's really interesting that you mentioned it today because about a week and a half ago, I had my own acknowledgement around rage. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use this rage. Rage is now becoming my catalyst to step forward,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's a story for another day. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
really, I appreciate you bringing anger into the conversation. So some of us don't want to feel what we call consider negative emotions. And for those of you who are listening, not watching, I'm doing air quotes
Air
as I
quotes.
say
Yeah.
negative emotions. But there's also that other thing, which is how one of the reasons this podcast is on, is there are also people who are afraid to feel the good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're expecting the other shoe to drop, or this
Right.
can't be happening for me, it has to happen for someone else, and it's too good to be true, and all of these other things, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so, yeah, and that makes
well,
me think of my brother. One day I remember saying something like, "It feels too good to be true," and he was like, "Mel, it's good," and he's like, "What if it's good and it's true?" So now my spin on it is, it's good and it's true, and it's good and true for me.
yeah. Yeah.
That
I
I
love
get to
it.
have this, So my clients and I, we have this thing called, because I use yummy a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, life can be both messy and miraculous at the same time. And so we get to feel the yuck and notice the yuck, but we must also show appreciation for the yum. And
Yeah.
so we yum it up.
I love
Sometimes I
it.
say, let's yum it up.
I,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I felt you saying something, so
I love
let
it.
me sip it and
Yeah,
then
no, it's so perfect, and I love it. I love the yum it up, because that one thing that I work with my clients on as well is you know, I have a process called Find Your Flow, and it's for when you're feeling those strong emotions, and really feeling them and going through it, and then I also say, and do it for the really good ones too. Good ones, the positive ones. I'm using air quotes too. When you're exceedingly happy, when you finally achieve something you've been wanting to achieve, when you're feeling in love, when you're, like, let's go celebrate those and really celebrate them and feel that and feel what's under it. Because too often, exactly what you're talking about, you achieve something. I mean, I premiered my show, right, which was a huge undertaking, huge thing. I'm so proud of it. And then I had this speaking gig like 3 days later, and when the host picked me up from the airport, they were like, "How was your weekend?" I'm like, "Oh my God, the show and the show, and I can't believe it." And he's like, "That's great. so what are you going to do now? And I'm like, can I just enjoy the fact that I just achieved something really big for a little bit? Like, like, can we have that moment? Like,
I am so glad you said that, because that is it. It's like we have this inner voice that will step in, and we've been so programmed to just move on to the next thing, and taking a chance to just taking a moment to just be with what we just experienced, and really get in the goodness of it, and experience all the magic and yumminess that comes with it. It helps really to expand our capacity to hold more of that goodness, more of that joy for longer periods of time. It really like expands our window of tolerance.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000 times, yes.
Good for you. Bad for you. What's the return on J? Return on J. ROJ for that.
ROJ. The ROJ.
It's funny too. Okay, another little sidebar. As you mentioned love, you said something about love, and it reminded me that you used to have a dating company, right?
Yes.
And so that made me think about, even when we think about when we're in the dating world, and if we've been through a series of unhealthy relationships, when we meet that partner who could actually be an ideal fit for what we desire to experience, how we are afraid, or can be afraid of that good. I mean,
yeah.
Well, like we're like, oh, something must be wrong with him. He's too kind. Oh, yeah, the shoe's gonna drop any minute.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it funny that we have such a it's like such an expectation that, you know, and I do agree, like, nothing's perfect, nobody's perfect. Like, I agree in the reality of that. And it's like, why we got to go looking for like why can't we, you know, again, we're missing the joy of the here and the now, because we're either projecting, oh, this person is perfect and they're going to be you know, and be the answer to my dreams, and we're going to ride off into the fairy tale, and then you get disappointed when it doesn't become a fairy tale, which nothing ever becomes a fairy tale. Or we're like,
what is that?
Too good to be true. Yeah, right? Too good to be true. Can't, now let's see, what's wrong? And it's like, why can't we just, like, just be here? Why can't we just enjoy, like, a great date, you know, a fabulous evening, a wonderful conversation, you know, and exploring again what comes up within you, because sometimes we do get scared, because getting intimate with someone, and I'm not even talking about sexually, but just even intimate in just a showing your heart kind of way, you know, that it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable to talk about who you are, who you really are, what you're really scared of, what you really want. That's very vulnerable, and I think a lot of times we get scared about that. And sometimes rightfully so. Sometimes we've been hurt. Sometimes people haven't held that vulnerability well. Okay, let's learn from it and take different next time, you know? But don't shut off the experience.
It's a different level of risk to allow our heart to be seen, which is something that you know a lot about. One of the things that sparked your return was me seeing a LinkedIn post about the day Adventure Girl was born. And so, you know, with there's so many different layers to your story, and you tend to go big. You know that saying, go big or go home. So risk is something that you tend to not, I won't say you're not afraid of. I'm not going to say that, make that assumption, or even put that on you. But one of the things that, based on my experience of you, that you lean in to do that. And so can you tell us a little bit about how Adventure Girl was born?
Hi, I'm Michelle Akins, executive coach and author, and I specialize in helping high-capacity leaders align their inner values with their outer goals. In my 6-week group coaching program, Clarity, you'll experience a supportive space for reflection, clarity, and growth. Through powerful questions, deep listening, and guided insight, you'll uncover what's next and gain the confidence and tools to pursue it with purpose. If you're ready for a shift, let's rewrite the script together. Go to michelleakins.com and click on the tab Work with Michelle. Look forward to seeing you.
Yeah. So first, to just what you were speaking about leaning, I do lean in. I do lean into the fear. And I believe that part of it is because I've just, as you know from seeing my show, my upbringing was a little unordinary. I don't know what the right word for it is, but I learned very early on that to take risks and that I was kind of responsible for my own experience. And while I wouldn't suggest that someone take the path that I took, but I would say the lessons that I got very, very, very early on, I'm so grateful for, because they have given me this spirit of like, okay, like let's just try it. Let's just see what happens. So I had the business that I had this year where it was like that business that I had that had the national exposure. It's been a really big deal. I loved it. I had sold that to my business partner, had a bad divorce with my business partner. So the business had failed. I tried another business. It failed. One of my best friends was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and then passed. I had a broke up friendship with another friend. And then there was a man that I was dating that I thought ultimately we'd get married, and we broke up. And so in the span of a year, it was like I went from like, life is amazing, everything's really great, to like everything gone, just crash.
That's a lot of loss.
It's a lot of loss in a 12-month period.
Yeah.
It shook me. And so I ended up getting a job because I had to have some financial stability. And then I ended up taking a vacation. I hadn't taken a vacation for years. And so I picked Havasu Falls in Grand Canyon, which, have you ever been there? I can't remember.
No. Well, you know what? I have been to the Grand Canyon. Believe me.
Okay.
I don't know if I've been to that.
Okay. Havasu Falls is about 10 miles in from the South Rim. It's a gorgeous area of the canyon. It's got these aqua waterfalls. You can look it up. It's incredible. So I booked this trip, and my MO, it was a group trip. My MO was, I'm going to go lay by the waterfall, I'm going to read my book. And I just need to like reset my system from all this that has happened. And, we do the 10-mile hike in, and I was not a hiker thing, but I was like, it's walking. I can do that. And so we get there, and then the first morning they were like, hey, we're going to go do this hike as a group. Do you want to go? And I'm like, well, all right, I'll do the one. But then I'm going to read my book when I get back after we have lunch. Okay. And so I go do the thing, and I really like it. And then, the next time they do a hike, I like it. And the next thing, and then we're climbing up and over, and we're on canyons and the thing, and we're doing all this stuff that I had never done before, never thought I could do. There was a couple of really, really technical, hard things in there. And I realized that I really liked it. And I had the moment I believe Adventure Girl was born with. There was this one waterfall called Mooney Falls, and to get there you have to kind of climb through the rock in the I think it's called travertine, I can't remember, but this hole in the side of the thing, and then there's these wooden steps and this rebar and these chains, and you're not harnessed in or anything, but you've got to shuffle down, holding on, and to get down to the base of the falls. And when they described that at the beginning of the trip, I was like, oh, hell no. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I'm certainly not doing that thing. And then I just had so much fun during the week. And so when the day came, I was like, all right, let's try it. I'll at least go see it. And then the next thing I know, I'm on the side of the rock face, and I'm holding on. And I had this moment of clarity where it was like, I'm just here. I wasn't worried about my heart or my friend or my job or my email. It was like I was just right here, and I just felt so alive and so present, more present than I've ever been in my whole life. And it was like, this is what life is about. And so Adventure Girl was born, and ever since then, I've been like, yeah, let's do the hike, let's bungee jump, let's let's try it, let's whatever it is. It doesn't have to even be adrenaline filled, but it's like, yeah, how many more experiences can I have? Because this is the juice, this right here.
So you went from, I'm not doing that. Hiking, no. All right, I'll walk.
I was like, I can hike, I can go for a walk.
Yeah. To, you went from all of that to being so wow and being fully present.
Yeah.
And was all of that before you did Ironman and before you, I always say the wrong mountain, you climbed
Kilimanjaro.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because I always want to say Mount Everest.
I know you do, and I love you for that. And I promise you that is not happening.
Listen.
That was my Everest. Yeah.
Climbing a mountain is not on my list of things to do. So the fact that you did it, listen, hats off. Okay.
Thank you. Well, I mean, all of those things happened because of that moment in the Grand Canyon. I think without that moment in the Grand Canyon, none of the other things happened, because that's what just lit me up for being present, having experiences, and also tuning into the more athletic side of me, which when I was growing up, I never, we didn't do sports. I was the girl who, when I was, I think around 10 or 11 or somewhere along there, somehow I ended up in the park league, like softball team. I don't even know how that happened. And, and I was not confident at all. And I would I'd try to go to the practices, but on game day, I would get, I would get sick because I would get nervous because it's a game and the pressure. And no one ever said, like, hey, that's normal. You're just a little nervous. Hey, why don't we try this? And so since I didn't feel like I fit in, and then I didn't feel well, I just quit going because it was so uncomfortable, and I felt sick. And so to me, like, boy, I think about that girl, and then I think about that same girl that was not the same girl because she evolved, but that girl is the Iron Man. Like, what? Like, that just kind of blows my mind. And I'm also just so proud of myself that I was able to find that within me. But that's why it's so extraordinary that Adventure Girl was born, because I never felt confident doing physical things besides any of the other stuff.
Wow. And for those who aren't familiar with the term, can you just briefly say what that is?
So it's a 1.2 or 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and a 26.2 mile run, full marathon, all in the same day.
And I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
I know.
I'm out of breath. Like, I'm just even thinking about training. And so that's interesting because I met you after you had already taken all of these risks. So in my mind, the story I made up is that there's always been this huge risk taker in you anyway. And if that is true, then what I am hearing is that the risk became more visible.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, my upbringing, so as a matter of survival, the risk early on had to be to get myself stable, to figure out how I was going to eat and live and kind of do that. And then I think once I kind of got those needs met, it was like, oh, okay, now we can shift the focus.
Yeah. And the fact that you were an attorney, like, that's a risk to shift from being an attorney and the expectations that come with that accomplishment to shifting into where you are now. That's something that someone would say, are you crazy? Like, what is she thinking of?
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't feel, it could seem like it's an illogical choice.
Yeah.
And yet, there was something in you that knew that that was no longer a good fit for you, right? I'm guessing. I'm assuming.
100%.
Um,
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
I'm not
I
totally
really,
guessing because we kind of had that conversation before, but I just don't remember all the details. Yeah.
well, one thing that I've been really good at, that I'm proud of, and it's part of why I do what I do, is again, it's the taking the risk. So it was risky for me to go to law school, and I was the girl who, barely graduated high school. So there was a part of me that didn't think I was smart enough. Even I was doing good to get through college, let alone try something like law school. But I had a couple people who were influential on that. And I was the first lawyer in my family, and to get on the other side of that and to practice law and to kind of take on that identity. But I realized one day that I wasn't very satisfied practicing law. And so I thought it was the area in which I was practicing. And so I was doing, hold on to your hats because it's pretty exciting. I was doing product liability defense litigation for auto manufacturers.
Say that 3 times real fast.
I know. Whatever. Seatbelts, airbag.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, I'm not that excited because it's the area. And so I was like, well, I would like to practice entertainment law. Okay. I love music. This is how I make decisions. I love music. I'll just do that. Okay. It's terribly hard to get into, but that prompted me to move to LA to pursue practicing entertainment law, moved from Ohio. And that was a huge risk. And the way I've made all these decisions in my life, since I can remember, and 100% still now, is it's around regret. Am I going to regret? Am I going to regret not trying that? Because I figured if I moved to LA and I didn't like practicing law, or I didn't like California, I could always come back to Ohio and that would be okay. But if I stayed in Ohio and never tried, then I would forever wonder, well, what if I would have tried? What if I would have given that a shot? And I just didn't want to live like that. So I'd rather regret the things that I do than the things that I don't do.
And that's it. Am I gonna regret?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those silly things. I don't know who to give credit to for, but it's that saying. So do it and enjoy doing it. Do it and don't enjoy doing it. Don't do it and don't enjoy. Don't do it and enjoy not doing it, or don't do it and don't enjoy not doing it, which is regret there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, I know that was a lot, right? In a sense, but it's like, do it and enjoy doing it, or do it and not enjoy it. That can be a regret. Like sometimes we step into it because it's based on external expectations, or the path that was chosen for you, or whatever that may be. So there are many times we're doing things and we're not enjoying doing it.
Yeah.
And I believe I heard you say you were not there.
Yeah, fascinating, because I say that I collect regrets, right? If you see me speak, it's a regret release method that I created, and people do that. And I've collected more than 1,200 regrets, and
wow,
the one thing that I see across almost all of them is often there's a regret. What's under the regret is not choosing your own life and what really matters to you and what you really want. And most of them are based around filling a role that somebody else has in mind, or even put your own box that you put yourself in. I'm a mother, so I can't do this. I'm short, so I can't. I'm tall, I'm old, I'm young, I'm whatever it is. I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm not athletic. And it's like, if you buy into, especially to what others expect of you, then that will, and you're not tuned into what you in your heart really want to do or try, even if you don't succeed, but you try. I would say that you won't regret ever trying to live authentically yourself.
I'm just going to sit with it for a minute. So collecting regret, and you collected 1,200. Tell me a little bit about how you collect them. Do you put them in a jar? Do you put them, is there like a special box that we have? And I'm sure we can
Yeah.
get creative, but just curious about your method for
Yeah.
as much as you're open to sharing.
Yeah, of course. So if you see me speak in person, then I'll walk you through an exercise, and I'll have you take a postcard and handwrite a regret and turn it into me. And the bulk of them have come in this form. If you see me speak virtually, I have a virtual form that you can fill out. So I always take those and print them off. And so I have a special box. It kind of looks like a suitcase, and it's where all of them, this is just a handful, but it's where they all reside. And the virtual ones I print off you. I have a ritual. I sage them. I read them a couple times. I wouldn't praise isn't the right word, but I hold them tenderly. Because I feel very fortunate that people have have been vulnerable and shared a part of themselves with me. And so I hold that tenderly. And then the reason I created this in the first place was so that people could get it off of whatever was weighing them, get it, off of their heart, off of their mind, off of their back, and be able to then take that and move forward in a way that is authentic and loving to themselves. So
Beautiful. And so there's a ritual to writing down that regret and then honoring that regret. And
absolutely. Yeah.
And the way I experience what you said is honor it, and the gift that it gave in that honoring, in the wisdom. That's how I experience what you share. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then do they replace that with anything, or what would be?
I always say, look at how it can fuel your future. So it depends. Sometimes it's simple. I wish I would have. I think one of the ones I have even on this stack is she regretted not going to Hawaii in her 20s, and she's almost 50 now. And so for her, it's like, okay, so book a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Take care of it. Or decide you wanted to go then, you're not going to go. You're not going to go to Hawaii, but you do today in your heart want to go to Paris. Book the trip to Paris. Sometimes, a lot of times, what comes up is something related to someone who has passed, and so there's regret around not having a final conversation, or a final conversation being an argument, or not saying a final goodbye, whatever.
Yeah.
And in those situations, I believe we can still connect to people. As from seeing my show, I still connect to my brother who passed when I was 4. And in those, you can write a letter. You could go to a place that's sacred for that person and have a conversation, or go to their gravestone if that's something that resonates with you. But there's ways that you can kind of complete that. And then again, how can we fuel your future with it? So now make sure that you seek out the conversations that you really want to have, or you spend time with your best friend or your child, or you carve out those special moments with them, or you make sure you say I love you to your spouse, to your child, to your friend, and you express that, and so you're then carrying forward the kind of legacy of what you couldn't do with this person into how you move forward in life.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. It made me think about when you said book a trip, or even like sometimes the regret comes through someone that was close. There's a movie, or I don't know if it's on Netflix, Prime, one of those things that you stream, and it is where the person goes through the list of the things that I believe her mom had written down that she wanted to do, who had passed on, and so she went through experiencing. I probably screwed that whole story up, but it's something along that line where there was a list, that was done.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it is. It's not doing what the mom did. It was a list of things that she wrote when she was younger, and that one of her mom's wishes for her was to complete her list of things. And then after she did that, there was like a gift or something that was left for her to open for her. That's how it was. Yeah.
I saw that movie. Yes.
Okay.
I just watched that. Like
Yeah.
within the last couple of weeks. Yes, it was a cute little movie. Yes, I loved it.
And I had forgotten about it, but when you said it, it just kept coming to me like I could see this person going on this adventure. And so it sounds like you walked through those kinds of experiences, and I imagine it to just be like magically delicious to get on the other side of it, or even to own that you have this regret about this moment. And what I heard you say was, book the flight to Hawaii, we'll book the trip to Paris. And that is like that choice that, wait, the time may have passed, but we're here now, and you get to choose again.
Right. That's the whole thing. Like, so we let the past choices fuel what we're going to do, so that today, right now, this choice that we have, since we have another day, ideally, we don't really know, but since we have another day or another opportunity, let's do it. Let's not wait another 10, 20, 30, 40, however many years or a day. Let's not wait another day to live what's in our heart.
Well, let me tell you something that I don't regret seeing that post and then reaching out to you. Because the day that I did, I just randomly called you, and we had a really sweet conversation. Like, I just happened to call you at a time.
And I happened to pick up, which is rare.
Yeah, you picked up, and we had this amazing time. And then that brought you here to share. Like, I just had so much. You've shared a lot during our time together today. And I know that there are some gems in there that our listeners can use to fuel their future. Yeah. So I'm so grateful for this. And I'm grateful that I don't have that as a regret. Following that thing. To invite you back, to pick up the call, to have this conversation.
Thank you for doing that, for taking action on that. It's huge, and so many people don't. Or I'll call them tomorrow. I'll call them later, and then it kind of never happens. Or I've done that. We all do that. And I'm trying to practice exactly what you're saying. And when I get that nudge, just to shoot the text or call or whatever it is and sometimes people don't respond, but sometimes they do, and you have a great conversation, and then you have another great conversation. It's like, this is what this is.
Yeah, and now we're having a global conversation. Like,
I know.
Everybody's in on it. Like,
I know.
How cool is that? What's the ROJ on that?
Right.
Yeah, and that, what? It's like the adventure is in those small moments. Like, even in that, picking up the phone, even looking up flights, or whatever that is. So, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for coming back. Glad to ask you, because I believe that gratitude and joy are partners. And so, what are you grateful for in this moment?
I'm super grateful for you for creating the platform and the opportunity to come on and share share a little bit about my life and your life, and hopefully today's show will inspire somebody to take that action and to even just live in this moment a little differently.
Yeah, thank you. What's a practical way, although we kind of talk about it at the top of the call, but something else may feel alive in you right now. What's a simple or practical way that you choose joy.
It's really practicing being present, being so present, and looking through the world. What's the best way I want to say it? Not through a child's eyes, but through fresh eyes. I'll often, last night I volunteer on Tuesday evenings, and when I was walking over to the place where I volunteer, and I do this a lot of times, especially when I'm out walking, is I'll just be like, I love this block. Look at the trees. It's spring. It's spring in Chicago. It's beautiful. It's so green. Everything, I can see green right now out my window. And that's so cool. I love that I can walk through this neighborhood. I love that there's safe public transportation taking me where I want to go. I love that it only costs $2.25 for me to get down the thing. I love that the bus driver smiled at me. I love that I've got a fridge full of food. And I'll start to just go on this almost like a rampage of gratitude and pointing out the things that are seemingly simple, yet we often don't pay attention to. Like I stop and smell the flowers. I walked by a blooming tree, and it was like I caught a whiff, and I was like, oh my God, this tree, it smells really good. So yeah, it's almost like stepping into kind of like a childlike wonder, but I find that those moments are what keep me really super present and grounded, and then that's when magical things inevitably happen.
Love that. Love that. Thank you for sharing. Like, those are what I consider my meditative walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about the things that you just shared, none of those require you to have to do anything. They're just waiting to be noticed.
Yeah. 100%.
For us to just appreciate it.
Yep.
The flower, you didn't have to do anything for that flower to be there.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that moment.
Yeah.
That notice it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's yummy.
So,
we got the yum, however you say that.
The yum. So I know that someone is going to be curious about how to learn more about your no regret formula and how to be able to select regrets and use those regrets to fuel their future. And so how can someone get connected?
Yeah. So so if you want to release a regret, which I will invite you to consider, we all have regrets to release. And if the word regret, by the way, seems too heavy, you can say, what would I do differently? Sometimes people relate better to that phrase. And so if you go to regretreleasemethod.com, you can enter your name and your email, and there's an anonymous form, so you can submit electronically a regret. And then I walk you through the entire method. So it's like what to do once you've submitted it and all of those things. So that's probably the best way. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'll give you the links. You can put it in the show notes. And that's where I post once a week. I post a regret that's been submitted to me. And I'm working on a book called That's Regrettable, Releasing Your Past to Fuel Your Future. So if you're on Instagram, if you get on my email list, then you'll get, first of all, you'll help me with pieces of the book and what to include, but then also you'll be the first to be able to actually get the book when it comes out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Definitely keep me posted. I like that name. That's regrettable.
Thank you. Yeah.
So on brand.
Well, my list voted it. I came up with a few options, and I put it out to my email list, and actually on my social media also, and that was the clear winner. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you again for coming. For those listening in, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. And my invitation is to listen to this. If you didn't listen with a note or journal or a click-clacky keyboard to re-listen, to capture the parts that are calling you forth and speaking to you, and just let us know what part our freedom lies in your decision to say yes to what you want, yes to who you are, and yes to what you stand for. Will you stand for using your past regrets to fuel your future? Until next time, be well.